Brothers and sisters, seeing this message today is not a mere coincidence. Every moment, every interaction, and every opportunity in our lives unfolds according to Allah's wisdom and timing. The Quran reminds us, and it is not for any soul to believe except by permission of Allah. This means that even the awareness you have right now, the inspiration you feel, is a direct blessing and sign from Allah. When we pause and reflect, we begin to see that life is full of subtle messages guiding us, preparing us, and sometimes even protecting us without our knowledge. Many of us struggle to understand why certain hardships or delays happen. Perhaps you've been waiting for a job, a relationship, relief from a difficulty, or even personal growth. Allah's timing is perfect, and often what seems like a delay is actually a form of preparation. The Prophet ﷺ said, "No fatigue, no disease, no sorrow, no sadness, no hurt, no distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick he receives from a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins for that." Every challenge is an opportunity, a divine shaping of your character, and a reminder that Allah sees you and is working behind the scenes for your ultimate good. Trusting Allah through these moments requires patience and faith. Life is unpredictable, and we often want immediate results. But Allah's wisdom surpasses human understanding. Just as a seed buried under the soil takes time to sprout, the blessings meant for us require nurturing, patience, and timing. Those who surrender to Allah's will and maintain trust, even in uncertainty, are the ones who experience the most profound and lasting rewards. Remember, indeed Allah is with the patient. This patience is not passive waiting. It is an active engagement of faith, hope, and readiness to act when Allah opens the door. Recognizing the blessings in our lives, even the small ones, is crucial. Opportunities, encounters, guidance, or even signs of personal growth are often subtle. A chance meeting with someone who changes your perspective, an unexpected solution to a problem, or a feeling of clarity after confusion are all manifestations of Allah's will. By being attentive, grateful, and reflective, the believer begins to notice these divine signs, which reinforce hope, increase faith, and strengthen reliance on Allah. Gratitude becomes a lens through which the heart perceives every challenge and success as a gift, shaping a mindset aligned with divine wisdom. Finally, believers are called to take action while fully surrendering to Allah. Effort without trust leads to frustration, and surrender without effort leads to passivity. Islam teaches balance. We strive, prepare, and act to the best of our ability, while trusting that the results rest with Allah. And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. By combining effort with trust, we align ourselves with divine will, ensuring that our actions are meaningful and our hearts remain at peace. Life's blessings, when approached this way, become transformative, equipping us spiritually, emotionally, and mentally to navigate the journey that Allah has designed uniquely for each of us. Every encounter, every moment, and every experience in life occurs by the will of Allah, even if we fail to recognize it. Often we dismiss events as random or purely coincidental, but the Quran reminds us repeatedly that nothing happens without His decree. Say, never will we be struck except by what Allah has decreed for us. He is our protector. This understanding transforms the way a believer perceives life. When we realize that every sight, every word, every opportunity, and even every challenge is divinely orchestrated, our hearts begin to see purpose and meaning in circumstances that might otherwise seem confusing or unfair. By Allah's will, you are seeing this message today, and that very moment is a reflection of His wisdom, mercy, and attention to your life. The awareness of divine orchestration fosters gratitude, hope, and a sense of security in the believer's heart, because even when the path seems unclear, Allah's guidance is ever present. Recognizing that every encounter is by divine will begins with mindfulness and reflection. Often we meet people, face challenges, or receive guidance at moments we least expect, and we may overlook the significance of these events. For instance, a stranger's advice, a sudden opportunity, or even a moment of clarity can redirect the course of one's life. These are not mere coincidences. They are signs from Allah, reminders that He is actively involved in the affairs of His creation. The Quran states, "And we have already created man and know what his soul whispers to him, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein." This closeness ensures that every detail of our lives, from the ordinary to the extraordinary, is under His care and wisdom. By reflecting on this truth, the believer begins to perceive life through a lens of divine intentionality, seeing guidance where others might see randomness. Understanding the signs of Allah in daily life also fosters a deep sense of hope. Life is full of uncertainty, and humans are prone to anxiety when outcomes are unknown. Yet the knowledge that every moment is divinely orchestrated reassures the heart that nothing is wasted, no encounter is meaningless, and every event carries purpose. Even setbacks, disappointments, or apparent delays are components of Allah's greater plan. They are designed to prepare, test, or guide us. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Do not grieve, for Allah is with us." This awareness transforms despair into patience, fear into trust, and confusion into clarity, allowing the believer to navigate life with a calm and hopeful heart. Real-life examples illustrate this beautifully. Consider someone who misses a particular opportunity, perhaps a job or a chance meeting, only to realize later that what seemed like a loss was a protection or a preparation for something far better. Another example could be encountering a person at the exact moment needed for guidance, encouragement, or support. These seemingly ordinary moments are in fact carefully timed by Allah. Recognizing these signs strengthens faith and reinforces the understanding that the Creator's wisdom surpasses human perception. Every detail of our lives, whether small or monumental, is purposeful, teaching us lessons and guiding us in ways that may not be immediately apparent. This recognition also nurtures gratitude. When the heart understands that Allah's will is present in every encounter, it begins to appreciate even the smallest blessings. A kind word, a moment of inspiration, a solution to a problem, all become opportunities to acknowledge Allah's mercy and presence. Gratitude, in turn, reinforces hope and trust, creating a cycle in which the believer continually sees signs of Allah's involvement, which strengthens patience and reliance on Him. Furthermore, this awareness encourages the believer to act with mindfulness. Knowing that every encounter is divinely orchestrated fosters reflection on one's intentions, responses, and interactions. Each decision, each choice, and each moment of effort is then made with the consciousness that Allah is observing, guiding, and shaping outcomes. Life becomes less about random luck and more about alignment with divine will. Align with the believer to approach challenges, opportunities, and relationships with purpose, sincerity, and reliance on Allah. By seeing life through this perspective, the believer develops a deep, unshakable faith that Allah perpetuates every moment. Each encounter becomes a lesson, a blessing, or a sign, and every hardship carries meaning. This understanding transforms ordinary experiences into opportunities for spiritual growth, awareness, and trust, guiding the heart to live with hope, patience, and reliance on one whose wisdom orchestrates all things with precision, mercy, and love. Trials and challenges are an inseparable part of life, yet their timing and nature are never random. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, allows hardships to enter our lives as part of a greater plan that is often beyond human understanding. The Quran states, "Do not think of those who have been killed in the way of Allah's dead. Rather, they are alive with their Lord, receiving provision." Although this verse refers to the ultimate sacrifice, it conveys a broader lesson. Every trial is a moment in which Allah is shaping, testing, and preparing us for something greater. What may seem like an obstacle, a setback, or a delay is often a hidden blessing designed to strengthen the believer, to redirect them toward a path of growth, and to align their life with divine will. Understanding this transforms our perspective on hardships, encouraging us to approach them with patience, reflection, and hope. Challenges serve as mirrors that reveal the state of the heart and character. When faced with difficulties, we often discover our strengths, weaknesses, and the depth of our faith. A person may endure financial strain, relationship struggles, or health issues and feel overwhelmed. Yet these trials teach resilience, humility, and reliance on Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said, "No fatigue, no disease, no sorrow, no sadness, no hurt, no distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick he receives from a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins for them." This hadith emphasizes that hardships are not merely punitive or random. They carry a divine purpose that purifies the soul, elevates patience, and brings the believer closer to Allah. Every difficulty, no matter how small, contains within it the potential for spiritual growth and reward. Timing plays a critical role in the wisdom behind trials. Often, a challenge arises precisely when it is most needed, even if we do not recognize it at the moment. A delayed opportunity, a sudden obstacle, or a period of uncertainty may appear inconvenient, but in hindsight, it becomes clear that these moments were preparing the heart, redirecting a path, or shielding a person from harm. Allah's knowledge encompasses all that has happened, and all that will happen, and He allows events to unfold with perfect precision. Believers are reminded in the Quran, "And it may be that you dislike a thing which is good for you, and that you like a thing which is bad for you. Allah knows, while you know not." Challenges, therefore, are instruments of divine preparation, shaping us for outcomes that we might not yet comprehend. The emotional impact of trials also carries spiritual significance. Hardships naturally test patience, perseverance, and emotional resilience. They awaken the heart to the importance of reliance on Allah and highlight the insufficiency of human control over life's circumstances. A person struggling through a difficult season may experience anxiety, frustration, or disappointment. Yet these feelings themselves are part of the test, opportunities to turn to Allah in dua, reflection, and surrender. By engaging with challenges in this way, the believer transforms potential despair into a spiritual exercise that cultivates hope, humility, and gratitude. Real-life examples further illustrate this principle. Consider someone who loses a job or faces rejection. Initially, it may feel like a disaster. However, in retrospect, this event may redirect them toward a better opportunity, a new path, or personal growth that would not have occurred otherwise. Another person may endure illness or setback, only to develop empathy, patience, and a stronger connection to Allah that reshapes their character and purpose. These examples highlight that trials are rarely meaningless. They are often a hidden mechanism through which Allah prepares us for greater success, reward, and spiritual maturity. Trials also cultivate a deeper sense of reliance on Allah, known as Tawakkul. By recognizing that challenges are part of divine wisdom, the believer learns to trust Allah's plan, remain patient, and continue striving within the framework of faith. The Quran emphasizes, indeed, Allah is with those who are patient. Patience is not passive waiting. It is an active engagement of faith, reflection, and effort, combined with the understanding that outcomes rest in Allah's hands. By embracing this perspective, hardships become more than tests. They are pathways to spiritual refinement, opportunities for growth, and reminders that Allah is intimately aware of every detail of our lives. Through this lens, challenges transform from burdens into blessings. Each trial is a divine message, a moment of preparation, and a chance to strengthen the heart, refine character, and cultivate trust in Allah's perfect plan. Understanding this wisdom allows believers to face life's difficulties with hope, resilience, and unwavering faith, seeing every obstacle as a carefully timed step towards spiritual elevation, divine guidance, and eventual relief. Patience and trust in Allah are two of the most essential qualities a believer can cultivate, especially when navigating the challenges and uncertainties of life. Life is unpredictable, full of obstacles, delays, and moments that test faith. Yet, Islam teaches that patience is not merely a passive waiting, but an active engagement of the heart, mind, and soul, with the knowledge that Allah's plan is perfect, and that relief and reward will come at the right time. The Quran reminds us, O you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. This verse highlights that patience is a means of seeking Allah's support, and that those who embody patience are never truly alone. Trusting Allah allows the believer to navigate trials with resilience, confidence, and inner peace, knowing that every event is part of a greater divine design. Trust in Allah, or tawakkul, is inseparable from patience. While humans plan, strive, and take action, the ultimate results rest with Allah. Recognizing this balance brings both humility and empowerment. When a person faces such challenges, whether in relationships, career, health, or personal growth, there is often a natural tendency to feel anxious or overwhelmed. However, cultivating trust in Allah transforms that anxiety into calmness and reliance. The believer understands that no matter the apparent delay, setback, or difficulty, Allah's timing is flawless, and His wisdom encompasses all circumstances. The Quran reinforces this, stating, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." This reliance is not a resignation to inaction. It is an active surrender that allows the heart to remain steady, even when external conditions are uncertain or seemingly unfavorable. Patience also shapes perspective, allowing the believer to view hardships through a lens of growth rather than loss. Trials become opportunities to develop resilience, empathy, and spiritual maturity. A person who endures difficulties with patience learns to manage emotions, make thoughtful decisions, and maintain hope. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Amazing is the affair of the believer. Verily all of his affairs are good for him, and this is not for anyone except the believer. If something pleasing occurs to him, he is grateful, and that is good for him. If something harmful occurs to him, he is patient, and that is good for him." This teaching illustrates that patience transforms challenges into spiritual benefit, ensuring that every experience, whether seemingly positive or negative, contributes to growth and reward. Real-life examples of patience and trust illustrate their transformative power. Consider a person waiting for a long-sought opportunity, such as a job, marriage, or academic acceptance. The period of waiting may be filled with uncertainty and frustration, Yet those who maintain patience, continue to seek Allah's guidance, and act with integrity, often find that what they eventually receive surpasses their initial expectations. Another example is someone enduring health challenges or personal loss. Through patience and trust, these moments become opportunities for reflection, increased reliance on Allah, and the cultivation of gratitude for aspects of life that remain. Over time, such patience fosters spiritual resilience, emotional balance, and a deeper connection to Allah. Trust and patience are also strengthened by regular worship, reflection, and remembrance of Allah. Prayer, recitation of the Quran, and dhikr anchor the believer's heart, reminding them of Allah's presence, mercy, and wisdom. By turning to these practices consistently, the heart is trained to respond to trials with faith, rather than despair. Reflection on Allah's promises, and the experiences of others who endured difficulties reinforces the understanding that every hardship carries meaning, purpose, and divine oversight. In addition, patience and trust inspire proactive engagement with life. A believer does not wait idly for relief, but continues to strive, plan, and act while keeping faith in Allah's ultimate control over outcomes. This balance of effort and reliance strengthens the heart, ensures preparedness, and aligns human action with divine will. Each step taken in patience and trust becomes a spiritual act, a demonstration of faith, and a preparation for the blessings that Allah has decreed. Through the cultivation of patience and trust, life's uncertainties and challenges are no longer sources of fear or frustration. Instead, they become opportunities for spiritual refinement, growth, and a deeper connection to Allah. The believer learns to navigate life with resilience, hope, and unwavering faith, confident that every trial, every delay, and every moment of struggle is part of a divine plan that is perfectly timed, purposefully guided, and infinitely wise. Recognizing opportunities and blessings requires a heart that is attentive, grateful, and open to the signs that Allah places in every aspect of life. Many times, we overlook the guidance, openings, and miracles around us because we are distracted, impatient, or focused solely on immediate. The Quran reminds us, do they not reflect upon themselves? Allah created the heavens and the earth, and all that is between them in truth and for a specified term, and yet many people deny they will meet their Lord. Reflection allows the believer to see life not as a series of random events, but as a carefully orchestrated plan, in which divine signs, blessings, and opportunities appear at the perfect moment. Being able to recognize these signs requires mindfulness, awareness, and trust in Allah's timing, allowing the believer to act in alignment with His guidance. One of the most beautiful aspects of recognizing blessings is understanding that they often arrive in forms that are subtle or unexpected. Opportunities may not always appear as grand, immediate solutions. They can come as small nudges, chance encounters, or even challenges that are meant to redirect the heart and mind. For example, a seemingly minor meeting with someone may turn into a pivotal relationship, guidance, or insight that shapes the course of one's life. Similarly, delays or obstacles may actually protect the believer from harm or prepare them for a greater blessing. The Prophet ﷺ said, if something harmful occurs to a believer, it is not by chance. Allah has decreed it for a reason. This principle teaches that blessings and guidance are often woven into life in ways that require attentiveness and reflection to recognize. Gratitude plays a crucial role in perceiving these opportunities. A heart that is thankful is more sensitive to the subtle signs and favors of Allah. When a person consistently expresses gratitude for what they have, even the smallest blessings become illuminated, and the mind becomes trained to recognize moments of divine generosity. This gratitude cultivates contentment, awareness, and patience, allowing the believer to see doors opening that others might miss. Even in hardship, recognizing Allah's help in the process transforms difficulty into opportunity, loss into lesson, and waiting into preparation. Each blessing, when acknowledged, becomes a source of motivation, hope, and strength, reinforcing the believer's reliance on Allah. Real-life experiences highlight how recognizing divine opportunities can change the trajectory of life. Consider someone struggling to find direction or clarity in their career, studies, or personal life. Often, an unexpected conversation, a random piece of advice, or a sudden opportunity becomes a turning point. These moments are not coincident. They are signs from Allah, strategically placed for the individual's benefit. Another example is someone facing repeated setbacks, only to find that what initially seemed like disappointment was a protective measure, guiding them toward a more suitable path or greater success. By paying attention to the timing and context of events, the believer learns to see Allah's wisdom in action, strengthening faith and awareness. Recognizing blessings also encourages proactive engagement. A believer who notices opportunities does not remain passive, but acts with sincerity, intention, and effort. Awareness alone is not sufficient. It must be accompanied by meaningful action that aligns with divine guidance. This balance between observation and engagement ensures that blessings are maximum and that every favorable moment is met with readiness, planning, and gratitude. The Quran emphasizes this balance, and when the prayer is concluded, disperse through the land and seek of the bounty of Allah. Recognizing the bounty of Allah involves both noticing what is given and taking active steps to benefit from it while remaining conscious of His will. Developing this awareness requires reflection, mindfulness and trust. Regular dua, remembrance, and contemplation of Allah's signs train the heart to perceive opportunities and blessings more clearly. Over time, the believer begins to see patterns, connections, and divine orchestration that were previously unnoticed. This perception strengthens hope, increases reliance on Allah, and nurtures a heart that is always ready to respond to guidance, whether in moments of challenge or ease. By cultivating attentiveness, gratitude, and action, the believer learns to recognize opportunities and blessings as direct manifestations of Allah's mercy and wisdom. Each sign becomes a lesson, each opportunity a test, and each blessing a reinforcement of divine presence, shaping a life that is aligned with faith, purpose, and trust in Allah's perfect plan. Taking action while surrendering to Allah is the delicate balance that defines true faith. Islam teaches that effort and trust are not mutually exclusive, rather they complement each other. A believer must strive, plan, and act to the best of their ability, while fully surrendering the outcome to Allah. The Quran reminds us, and rely upon Allah, and sufficient is Allah, as disposer of affairs. This verse highlights the necessity of combining personal effort with reliance on the Creator. By understanding this balance, the believer navigates life with purpose, determination, and serenity, knowing that while human effort is important, ultimate success and guidance rest with Allah. Surrendering to Allah does not imply passivity or complacency. On the contrary, it is an active engagement of the heart and mind in alignment with divine wisdom. A person who surrenders trusts that their plans, struggles, and endeavors are meaningful, even if immediate results are not visible. For example, a student who prepares diligently for exams, while praying and seeking Allah's guidance, is demonstrating both effort and surrender. Similarly, someone starting a new business, repairing a relationship, or pursuing personal development, is required to take practical steps while trusting that Allah will determine the outcome according to His wisdom. The act of surrender enhances resilience, reduces anxiety, and strengthens the heart against disappointment, knowing that the ultimate results are in capable and merciful hands. The Prophet ﷺ demonstrated this principle in his life, showing that effort must always be accompanied by trust. Every plan he made, whether in battle, governance, or personal affairs, was executed with diligence, strategy, and consultation, yet he relied completely on Allah for the final outcome. The companions of the Prophet also exemplified this balance. They worked tirelessly in their endeavors to spread knowledge, support the community, and build lives of integrity, all while surrendering the results to Allah. This example teaches that success is not merely the product of human effort, nor is it solely divine intervention, but a harmony between the two. Taking action while surrendering also fosters a sense of purpose and direction. The believer understands that effort is a form of worship when performed with sincerity and intention. Every task, whether large or small, becomes meaningful when aligned with Allah's guidance and executed with honesty, diligence, and humility. Even failures and setbacks are reframed as part of the learning process, a means of growth, and an opportunity to strengthen reliance on Allah. The believer's heart becomes resilient, able to embrace uncertainty with hope and confidence, knowing that divine wisdom governs every detail. Real-life examples demonstrate the transformative power of combining effort with surrender. Consider a person striving to overcome a personal challenge, such as improving health, repairing relationships, or advancing in their career. By taking consistent steps, seeking knowledge, and making proactive choices while trusting Allah for guidance and outcomes, the individual experiences peace and confidence, even amidst uncertainty. Another example is a believer facing repeated setbacks. Those who continue striving with patience and trust often discover that what initially seemed like failure is a setup for a greater blessing or more suitable opportunity. The combination of effort and surrender ensures that the believer's heart remains aligned with faith, reducing frustration and increasing spiritual growth. Dua and remembrance play a pivotal role in this process. By invoking Allah's guidance, seeking His help, and acknowledging His sovereignty over all affairs, the believer strengthens their reliance and purifies their intentions. This spiritual connection ensures that actions are not motivated by ego, desperation, or fear, but by sincere commitment to fulfill responsibilities in accordance with Allah's will. The act of surrender, combined with consistent effort, creates a rhythm of life that balances personal agency with divine oversight. Ultimately, taking action while
how surrendering to Allah transforms the believer's approach to life. Every challenge, opportunity, and decision is met with clarity, purpose, and reliance on divine wisdom. Effort becomes a source of empowerment. Surrender becomes a source of peace, and the combination of the two produces a life of resilience, faith, and alignment with Allah's perfect plan. The believer learns that while humans are responsible for their actions, the outcomes are always entrusted to Allah, and this awareness shapes a heart that is both active and serene, diligent and trusting, hopeful and patient, preparing them to receive the blessings that Allah has decreed at the perfect moment.